Matthew Lapp, train guide. Also today I'm at the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas. The Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas is also known as the Atchison Rail Museum, and the depot is where you can see exhibits inside, and also it is a former Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe freight depot, and the freight depot was built in 1880, and the museum was founded in 1988. There also used to be tracks laid right here on my left, your right, viewers, and if you ever see me on camera on screen. And also freight cars would be loaded and unloaded for trains going from place to place. Also today, the Atchison Rail Museum has a lot of railroad history you can think of. It's got big trains you can view and only has one big locomotive, and the biggest locomotive on the grounds is a steam locomotive, and I'll discuss it about later in this segment. And there is also a miniature train you can ride only on weekends in the summertime. The museum also features exhibits on Lewis Clark, Amelia Earhart, Jesse Stone, and the railroad history of Atchison County. Also, you can explore the museum on the inside and in where the trains are today. Atchison is served by Union Pacific today and sees the occasional Kansas City Southern trains. The Union Pacific, former Missouri Pacific line through town, is busy with through freight as well as switching jobs serving MPG, Northwest Pipe, and other local industries. The through trains consist mostly northwest bound empty coal trains returning to Wyoming and empty container trains returning to West Coast ports. Also, the Atchison County Historical Society is known to be the Atchison Rail Museum, like I said, and has bigger trains and even one train you can ride, which is the Atchison and Western Railroad, and is a 12-inch scale miniature railroad, a 12-inch gauge railroad, which it is, and sometimes runs on weekends during the summertime. And the museum is open Saturday, and it runs Saturday 10 to 5. The museum is also open weekdays, Saturdays 10 to 5 and Sundays 12 to 4. Museum cars are open summer weekends only. We are here in the exhibit gallery of the Santa Fe Freight Depot. You can see this is a painting of a steam locomotive with wood cardboard. And let me show you around. You see that here? These are some artifacts I'd like to show you. Station in the past. And here's a painting of an old steam locomotive. There's an old lantern, old monkey wrenches, and some handmade wrenches, and blocks for railroad switches. Right here are some crates that were used to load on trains. And what you see right here, this is a painting of a steam locomotive coming off of the turntable, or these guys are starting to use the steam engine around on the turntable. It's beautiful. It's a crate that the earrings and brown hat was unloaded, dark brown hat. Okay, here's another display case I'll show you. that is in River Atchison Park. There's a breakthrough attack on Missouri Pacific, a railroad spike, a longer switch. There's an oiling can, a ticket puncher, a pocket watch, railroad spike, anchor, high ties. There's a little back right there. There's a map. There's another oiling can. Now, you see right here, here's a Santa Fe Super Chiefs logo. And that was Streamline Passenger Train in the past. Now, here's a display case I'd like to show you. Like, here's the ticket rates from the past. I think that's there's a switch lock, or two switch locks, 8 slots in this case. Here's a braking sound. Yeah, it is a braking sound. So much openings in this case. Here's the Santa Fe, Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad blend. Now here's a picture of a steam locomotive dressed up for some kind of fair. Here's a Santa Fe symbol logo thing. It's like on this Streamline low bonnet locomotives. I like it. Right here, this is a model G-scale model of a Santa Fe steam engine, a 460 Santa Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 49. Time flight observation coach, number 93 back there. And here's a TV screen. You can press these buttons to watch whatever you like rail history, Atchison Rail Center, Kansas, Harvey Girls. Now, I'm going to show you right here. This is brochures, an old lantern, in this case. You see right here, this is an HO diagram. Missouri Pacific X5790 was built by the Missouri Pacific Atchison shops in Atchison, Kansas in 1928 and is a snowplow built from an old steam locomotive's tender. Missouri Pacific X5790 is one of Missouri Pacific's 6 snowplows, home built in the 1920s at the Missouri Pacific shops in Atchison, Kansas, using old steam tenders. These were loaded with rocks to weigh them down against 4 to 5 foot snowdrifts and were stored strategically on the rail system. Missouri Pacific X5790 remained in service into the late 1980s and was mainly used on this now banded Central branch line running northwest of Atchison, Kansas. Then Missouri Pacific X5790 showed up occasionally on the Omaha line in Omaha, Nebraska. Then Missouri Pacific X5790 was retired, then came to be on static display at the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811 was built by Baldwin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1902 and is the 199/67th steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 280 consolidation type steam locomotive and is a 789 class steam locomotive. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811 was a freight engine for the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811 is the last of 23 such units of the 789 class. Between 1907 and 1910, it was changed from a four-cylinder Valclane compound to single expansion cylinders. In 1923, it was converted to oil at the Topeka shops using some parts manufactured in Atchison, Kansas. The Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe shops is what I'm saying. Also, Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811 continued her career after being converted to burn oil. Also, Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811 was a switch engine in Chanute, Kansas. Then in 1952, Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811 was retired, then put in storage for 2 years, and then in 1954, Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811 was donated to the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it can be found on display. And as seeing the engine, you can also visit the cab and even sit where the engineer and fireman used to sit. Also, Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 811 is one of 13 Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 280s today. You see right behind me is Missouri Pacific 9429. Missouri Pacific 9429 was built as a 40-foot steel boxcar and stills today. Also, Missouri Pacific 9429 was used behind freight trains on the Missouri Pacific Railroad and being part of freight trains from the past. Missouri Pacific 9429 was also used to haul loads such as boxes, crates, merchandise, and etc. Missouri Pacific 9429 was also retired and then donated to the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. And also, inside the boxcar, there are exhibits you can be found, and you can check it out on the inside whenever. Missouri Pacific 9127 was built either in the 1940s or 1950s. Missouri Pacific 9127 is a flat car that was used for hauling cargo such as steel beams and other different items like bulldozers and other different types of cargo that are carried on railroad flat cars that Missouri Pacific 9127 may have carried in the past. Missouri Pacific 9127 was used basically behind freight trains in the past and was used for the Missouri Pacific Railroad. Then Missouri Pacific 9127 was retired and then donated to the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, and can be seen on display at the museum today. Missouri Pacific 121-175 was built in 1927, originally as a steel-framed boxcar with wood sides. Then in 1950 converted to be a steel 40-foot boxcar. Missouri Pacific 121 175 is one of a group of cars that were specially equipped to carry less than a carload freight on Missouri Pacific passenger trains between 1951 and 1960. Missouri Pacific 121 175 was used behind freight trains on the Missouri Pacific Railroad and being part of a freight trains from the past. Missouri Pacific 121 175 was used to haul loads such as boxes, crates, merchandise, and etc. Missouri Pacific 121 175 was painted in a special paint scheme to match Missouri Pacific's eagle and has the side saying Eagle Merchandise Service. Missouri Pacific 121 175 was also retired and then donated to the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Burlington Northern 973 151. Burlington Northern 973 151 was built as a maintenance of way tanker car. Burlington Northern 973 151 was used to haul water for maintenance of way projects. This car was constructed by placing an order riveted tanker car tank on a newer flat car. Originally, Burlington Northern 973 151 was Great Northern X6518, then became Burlington Northern 973 151, which it still is today. After the 1970 merger that created the Burlington Northern, then Burlington Northern 973 151 was then retired, then came to be part of beyond display at the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999 468. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999 468 was built by the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe shops in 1942 and is an off-center cupola caboose. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999 468 was used behind freight trains for the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999 468 was rebuilt in 1975 and again in 1981. While the main use of the caboose was to serve as an office for the conductor, it also served as the supply department for the entire train crew. Then Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999 468 was retired, then came to be part of the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Kansas City Southern 400. Kansas City Southern 400 was built as a bay window caboose. Kansas City Southern 400 was the first of the last group of Kansas City Southern cabooses numbered from 400 to 600, 406, and built for the Kansas City Southern Railroad. Kansas City Southern 400 was overhauled by the Kansas City Southern Railroad. Then Kansas City Southern 400 was also used behind freight trains and was used on the Kansas City Southern Railroad in the past. And also, then Kansas City Southern 400 was then retired, then donated to the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 1604. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 1604 was built by the Budd Company in 1952 and is a mail car. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 1604 is also named Silver Pouch Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 1604 was the last stainless steel railway post office car purchased by the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad. Railway post office cars were used to sort and carry mail on passenger trains until 1967. Much of America mail was carried by and sorted on passenger trains. Also, Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy was used on 1604 was used on Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy streamlined passenger trains in the past. Then Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 1604 was retired, then came to be part of the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999-592 was built as an off-center cupola caboose. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999-592 was used behind freight trains for the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad. While the main use of the caboose was to serve as an office for the conductor, it also served as the supply department for the entire train crew and was also used and built as one of the many Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe cabooses when it came out of the factory. Then Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999-592 was retired, then came to be part of the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999-575. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999-575 was built as an off-center cupola caboose. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999-575 was used behind freight trains for the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad. While in main use of the caboose was to serve as an office for the conductor to see the very front of the train from the cupola and use as his office. This caboose also served. The caboose also served as a supply department for the entire train crew. Then Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999-575 was retired, then came to be part of the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. Behind me is Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 4703. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 4703 was built by the Budd Company in 1940 and is a chair car. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 4703 is also named Silver Gleam. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 4703 was used on the Silver Streak Zephyr passenger train that ran between Kansas City, Missouri, and Omaha, Nebraska, and Lincoln, Nebraska. Also, Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 4703 was retired and then came to be part of the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. And just like not long ago, sometime after maybe being put on the museum grounds, Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 4703 got vandalized as someone threw rocks at the windows. And the glass on the windows currently have holes and cracks, and someday the glass should get some replaced in the future sometime, hopefully. What you see right behind me is Missouri Pacific 14259. Missouri Pacific 14259 was built by the Missouri Pacific DeSoto shops in DeSoto, Missouri in 1962 and is a maintenance of way diner. Missouri Pacific 14259 was part of a group of 50 cars intended for use carrying mail and express on passenger on trains. Missouri Pacific 14259 was also then rebuilt into a dining car for track crews in the early 1970s. Also, Missouri Pacific 14259 was used as a dining car of maintenance of way when the crew had lunch break, and also even has a Union Pacific logo on two sides of the car. Missouri Pacific 14259 was among the more unusual cars of the fleet, a 70-foot express car in the 135 series for express and mail handling in the 1960s. They were seen all over the system, but their assignment was short-lived. Soon after their introduction in the 60s, mail service switched off rail and the express cars lost their major assignment. The Postal Service had changed contracts and went up with the airlines due to a lightweight construction. The cars used for anything other than LCL service was very restricted. They were limited in general freight handling, thus those that escaped the deadlines were sent to maintenance of way service earlier than their contemporaries found in a variety of maintenance of way work. The express cars that stayed in revenue service for a long time are long gone, but those that served can still be found in maintenance of way service today, working for the Union Pacific. Also, Missouri Pacific 14259 was then retired, then came to be part of the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Burlington Northern 10410. Burlington Northern 10410 was built by the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Havelock shops in Havelock, Nebraska in 1954. Burlington Northern 10410 was a Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy caboose and has a streamlined style cupola and was numbered as one time as Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 13544. Sometime in the near future, it may or may not get repainted to Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy scheme, and right now is currently a Burlington Northern green. Also, Burlington Northern 10410 was retired, then came to be part of the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Missouri Pacific 13615. Missouri Pacific 13615 was built in 1937 and is a wide vision caboose. Missouri Pacific 13615 was used on the back of freight trains on the Missouri Pacific Railroad. It is one of the many built cabooses used for the Missouri Pacific Railroad and painted red as well. Also, Missouri Pacific 13615 was used as a conductor's office. Then Missouri Pacific 13615 was retired, then came to be part of the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. What you see right behind me is Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999 952.
Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 999 952 was built by the American Car and Foundry Company in St. Charles, Missouri in 1927 and is a CE5 class all-steel cupola caboose. Originally, it was numbered 1642 and was intended for transfer service in Kansas City and elsewhere. The work was done with freight trains in Topeka and Kansas City in the early 70s. This caboose retained the original four-digit number initially. Then in 1976, this caboose was renumbered 999 952. Then later on, this caboose was retired and then it was acquired by the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is today. Then in 2017, it was repainted and was moved closer to the depot building as well. And also you could even visit the interior of it as well.
What you see right behind me is the Missouri Pacific baggage car.
The Missouri Pacific baggage car was built in the 1900s and is a baggage car. Also, the original number of this car is unknown. This car was used on the Missouri Pacific Railroad for many years, and also it has been used on passenger trains on the railroad for several years, and also was equipped to handle baggage, express mail, merchandise, or similar products. Then later on, it was retired and it was then acquired by the Atchison County Historical Society and is on display at the Rail Museum in Atchison, Kansas, where it is on display today.
What you see right behind me is the Missouri Pacific boxcar.
The Missouri Pacific boxcar was built somewhere in the 1900s and is a steel boxcar. This was used for the Missouri Pacific Railroad many years ago. Also, this boxcar was used many years ago on freight trains and was even used for hauling cargo that boxcars were meant to carry many years ago, as they still do today. Then later on, this boxcar was retired and then it was then acquired by the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is at the Rail Museum today.
What you see right behind me is Missouri Pacific 15451.
Missouri Pacific
15451.
was built in 1969 and is a boxcar. This car was originally numbered 794-826. It was used on freight trains many years ago and would be used on mixed freight trains or a freight train of boxcars on the Missouri Pacific Railroad many years ago, and would also be used to carry cargo such as boxes, crates, merchandise, rolls of paper, and etc. Then later, it was renumbered 15451. Then later on, it was retired and it was then acquired by the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas at the Rail Museum, where it is preserved today.
What you see right behind me is the United States Army Transportation Corps boxcar.
The United States Army Transportation Corps boxcar was built around the 1900s and is an outbraced boxcar. This car was used for the United States Army on the railroad. Also, the original number to this car is unknown. Also, this car was used for hauling army supplies and during World War II, and in light of the start of Cold War, the US military began to prepare for the possibility of a third major conflict in Europe. Railroads played a major part in moving troops and supplies during World War II, and it was felt that that role would be reprised should World War III erupt. To that end, the United States developed and built a large fleet of freight cars and locomotives that would be suitable for use on railroads in Europe and elsewhere. Then later on, the car was retired and it was then acquired by the Atchison County Historical Society in Atchison, Kansas, where it is at the Rail Museum today. Also, in 2018, it was cosmetically restored, and also it is seen here on display at the Atchison County Historical Society at the Depot Museum, where it is today.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed learning about trains with me today in Matthew Lap Train Guy. Also, I hope to see you all again real soon. And also, if you didn't give the Facebook page a like yet, here's where you'll want to go. And if you didn't give the Instagram page a follow yet, here's where you'll want to go as well. Also, be sure to get your merch at teesprings.com. The link is in the description box below, along with the Facebook and Instagram pages. And remember to subscribe to the Train Guy. So this is Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guy, signing out. Until next time, all aboard.